Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Colleen, and if you're new here, I am excited to have you along. And for my old friends who are returning, it's always a pleasure to have you along, and I can count you up there. I can see you, I see your names go by in my heart every time I hit the record button. I don't even want to say I especially think of, because I think of all of you. Anyway, I got started with this video, but wouldn't you know, I forgot to hit the record button. So I'm a little behind, or maybe I'm a little ahead. Today I'm going to show you how to make some quick pickles for your refrigerator. And I have a few more things to gather up, and then I'll come back right after this. I'm going to make a few different brines to get started today. This brine that I made when I thought I had hit the record button, I have it all put together and I'm ready to put it on the stove. So let me go through what I've put in here. Because I have, about 8 jars out on the counter and I'm never sure when to call it quits, I put in here 3 cups of vinegar, so I'm making this 2 to 1, 3 cups of regular household vinegar. This isn't pickling vinegar. If I was pickling for long-term storage, I would use 7% pickling vinegar, but I'm using regular 5% household vinegar. So in here I have 3 cups of vinegar and 1.5 cups of water, so it's a 2 to 1 ratio. I have 3 tablespoons of salt. Today I had pink Himalayan because I'm out of regular table salt. I use 2/3 cup of sugar because some of my pickles I like to be a bit sweeter. And then I put in 3 tablespoons of this mixed pickling spice that you can get almost anywhere where they have a good supply of spices. Or you can add whatever you like, quite honestly. This is a quick pickle. You do it up, you screw the top on, you put it in the refrigerator. And in 2 to 3 days' time, you can start eating from that bottle. These will not last on your pantry shelf. These are quick pickles to kind of have every day along the way. So I'm going to set this one over on the stove and then we'll get ready to do the next brine. Now, in this little pot, I'm going to do a straight up brine for some dill pickles. And I think I'm just, let's see, what will I make? I think maybe I'll just make 1 jar. Does that sound right? Yeah, I think so. With all the other ones, I think that's going to be enough. So 1 cup of white vinegar. You can use different colored vinegars if you like. They all bring a different flavor profile to it, but that's what I'm going to do. I need 1/2 cup of water. So we're keeping the ratio the same here. Once you've done this a few times, you'll know whether you want to adjust it a little more so that it's a little more acidic or a little less acidic. So that's entirely up to you. And I'm going to need 1 teaspoon, this is a tablespoon, so I'm just going to do half of it, of salt. And I'm going to start off with a tablespoon of sugar. Now I'm going to stir it and taste it and see if it's where I want it to be yet. We put these on the stove to check, or to bring them up to the boil. Nope, not quite. I need another spoonful of sugar. Let's see now. It is a fine art, this pickle making. It's less about how much and more about your taste buds. Better. Okay, I'm going to set this one over on the counter, or over on the stove. Okay, I have both the brines on the go. And I'm going to start off today using my dill. So I'm going to grab a jar. I've washed up my vegetables here, some vegetables, and put them in this bowl. But I haven't gone very far with that. This is some beautiful dill right out of my garden. It's gorgeous. I don't know how it survived my negligence this year, but dill seems to have a way of doing it. So I'm going to take one of these heads because they're pretty, and I'm going to break it off and I'm going to stuff it in this jar. And then along with that, let's put it right there. Along with that, I'm going to cut up some garlic chunks and throw them in the jar. And it starts to add to how pretty the jar is. Now let's cut both ends off of these cucumbers. These are long English cucumbers, but they're the baby ones. So then I'm just going to cut these into chunks like so. And I'm going to pack them in the jar. And I'm going to try and really pack them down there. And these are one of Peyton's favorite things to do, is to make quick pickles. It's something she learned in home ec. I guess it's foods class at the high school. And she has definitely learned some capable skills there. And one of the things she happens to love, when you know it, is a quick pickle. So then I'm going to just take some of the frond and I'm going to put it in there because they add flavor too. Look at that. It's coming along quite nice. Are you keeping track? This is cucumber number 3. I'm not sure it'll all go in there, but we will put in what will go. You don't want to have a lot of room in there because there's too many places to trap air, but as you're going to be using these up in a short amount of time, you don't have to be quite as concerned as you would be if you were preserving these for the winter or whatever. So there's one pretty little jar. Now I just have to wait for the brine to come to a boil, and then I'll put the brine on, put the ring on, the seal on and the ring on, and we're done with that one. Now which one will we do next? Onions cut, so I think I'll get at cutting some onions and get the crying over with, because it's sure to come. I have here a white onion. Now I could add some white onion, or I could have added some white onion to that dill pickle mix right there. In fact, it's probably not too late to add a little bit to the top. And I love this time of the year when we can get so many different varieties of onions, because we don't always have a great variety of onions in our grocery stores. But today I hit it lucky. It's just the right season. Okay, now I'm going to set that aside, and I'm just going to go through this, and these like this. I'm going to stuff this in here like so. And it will, believe it or not, lend a little flavor to the jar. Now, I'm going to take this red onion, because I'm going to pickle up some red onions, because I guess I haven't explained to you what we're about, why the quick pickles. So this weekend is Labor Day weekend for us here in Canada, and on Labor Day weekend we often go to my sister and brother-in-law's farm in Rock Creek, BC, and they have a lovely farm out there, and we all love to get together and just have a big old visit. And we spend the weekend. Some of them camp, some stay in the house, and we just have a wonderful time playing games and talking and chatting and laughing, a lot of laughing. And it's a wonderful weekend. So all of the family have been on a group chat together trying to figure out what it is we're going to eat, because I don't know about you guys, but when we get together, food is often a topic of conversation, and we talk about food a lot. So I am trying to figure out whether I need to do some more red onion, because I'm just going to pickle some red onions because they can go on hamburgers and hot dogs, and they can be quite tasty. Oh, and there's the tears. So I'm going to try and get rid of some of the tears right now. I'm going to throw all of these red onions together into my little strainer, and I'm going to run them in some water. See if I can't make the tears go away. There we go. I'm going to leave them sit there for a minute because the brine for the dill pickles is ready. So it's bubbling away. I'm just going to pour it in. It's funny, it's still a little bit pink from the pink Himalayan salt. And there we go. I'm going to throw a lid on. Just a snap lid. And I am going to, there, pickle number 1, set. Now it just needs to cool for the refrigerator. What to do next? We'll do the red onions next, I think. Now the red onions will require us to use the other pickling brine that's going on the stove. So I am going to add a few cloves of garlic to this pickling onion as well. And let's fill this up. I will cut more if I need more, but again, it doesn't matter really how much you pack the jar. If it's loose, that's fine, because at some point you're going to take some of it out of there anyway. Okay, what else do you think should go in there? Maybe a little more garlic. I'll just cut that in half. Do you think I should put some dill in there? Oh, why not? Got lots of dill sitting right here. I'll take this pretty little blossom right here and put it down the side. And then I'll finish filling this up so it won't be really dilly. It'll be really tasty. Let's get that out of the way. And here's our pickled red onion. I just need that brine to come to a boil. So while we're waiting on that, let's get started on maybe a vegetable one, like a jardiniere. Let's try that out. So I'm going to need some white onion for that. I'm going to need some vegetables. In this case, I'm going to use some cauliflower and this pepper, this orange pepper that I rinsed earlier. And I'm just going to chop it into chunks. I see a bad spot in there, so I'm going to cut that out and all the way around it. We don't want any of that in there. And chop that into pieces. Everything in my kitchen gets a little bit of garlic, but you don't have to. Let's go get some cauliflower. Now, I'm going to come to a halt again because now the next bunch of brine is ready and I'm going to fill this up. And, whoops, this about tipped her into the wrong jar. Oh, I can see what a mess I'm making. Wow. I should have got a funnel. Somebody should have reminded me about a funnel. I do have them. There we go. And I just need a lid, a seal, and a ring. Now that's number 2 to go into the fridge. It'll be ready for the weekend. Now I'm going to cut up some cauliflower and I'm going to make it, I am going to make it about bite size. I'm going to toss a little bit in and I'm going to add some of the white onion in Maybe a few more of these. It's like being a mad scientist or something. Now, your family may have made some sort of a jardiniere when you were growing up that this would give you the same kind of feels about. You can add carrots to this. In fact, carrots are really good pickled. I should have thought of carrots as I was planning this out. I have carrots in the fridge. I was actually going to do a jar of carrots by themselves, and I guess I still could. But I have other plans here too. Now, I'm going to add some more onion. I'm going to check that over. I think there will be around 30 people to eat. My sister-in-law is very generous and often invites neighbors as well as having her whole family there. Her name is Davina, and she's married to George. And George and Davina have a really lovely property, and they have a couple of Airbnb cabins. I'll try and link them below so that if you're ever in the area where she lives, you can stop in and visit with her on her farm. She raises sheep and horses and whatever other animal happens to come along that she has a heart for, and we always appreciate them so much. She's the baby of a family of 6 and the only girl, so she means an awful lot to us. So anyway, now I've got that all in there. I'm not going to add any dill to this one. I'm just going to add, maybe I'll get out my funnel first, and I'll add the brine. And in we go. You can pretty much fill the jar to the top. Have a look at it, and if it looks like there's any big air bubbles or anything in there, adjust for that. And you want to try and get, I might add a little more there. You want everything kind of to be in the pool, if you know what I mean. There. We're going to put a lid on that and a ring. Let's use our finger, clear that off, put that on. Right, quick pickle number 3. Now before I move on to the next one, I'm going to clean a little bit of this area off because I've got quite a mess going on here. And I need a little room to operate. Okay, we're just going to do something a little different. Rather than quick pickling the way that we just have, I'm going to do some marinated treats. Now, you may have seen this before, or you may have done it before. The family is Italian, so they do like their meat and cheese and oil and olives. And so this, I think, will be a popular snack down at the farm. And we need a couple different kinds of cheeses. I'm going to cube up some mozzarella. So we'll have some soft cubes. And I'm going to make them about, I don't know, maybe, they're not necessarily going to be cubey by the looks of it. I think I'll cut that in half again. You can make these any size you wanted. If it didn't matter to you, you could get out a little cookie cutter and you could cut them into shapes, which would be really awesome for holidays and other get-togethers like that. And I'm going to do about 1 slice each of these for each of the 2 jars. And so they're coming out to look like about, some of them are going to be a little bigger, some a little smaller, and maybe I'm going to cut that one a little smaller too. So this is the mozzarella cheese. And next I splurged and I got some really good quality white cheddar. It happens to be my favorite white cheddar, but it also costs a pretty penny. So don't break the bank. Use whatever you can afford. This is Kerrygold butter from Dublin. This particular one's called Dubliner. and it smells so good, and it is so good. Like I said, this one's my favorite. The Kerrygold butters come in 2 or 3 different flavors, so they are extremely delicious. And you can be sure that at least one of these cubes are not going to make it into the jar. I'm just saying, it's not going to happen. And I will be snacking later. There we go. This might make more than a couple jars actually, but I'm only aiming for that. Now, I have some Hungarian salami. You use whatever kind of sausage or salami you enjoy. It doesn't really matter, it's a cured meat, and it will go wonderfully in these jars. Get the garbage all out of the way. Let me figure out how to get into it. I'm worried about cutting myself on camera. I feel like it could be a thing that I'd be sad about, and so would you, so let's try to put the knife away and see how far we can get without it. I think I've expressed before that this group that I'm going to meet with, my in-laws, are very dear to me. And we all traveled together to Spain this year, where we had all kinds of meats and cheeses and olives and other delightful treats. And I'm going to make this sausage about the same size cubes. And the cheeses. And we will just be able to take them out of the jar with a fork and put them on a piece of bread, because bread seems to be one of our favorites too. Good bread. And just snack away. We're going to make a marinade for this, and we'll dump over the top. And I'm not afraid to cut more if I need more. I have a bit of it left. And now my hands are all crazy and I need to open that bottle of olives. So let's dry them off a little bit first and see how we make out here. Now you could use any mixture, any concoction you like. This doesn't have to be it. There we go. So I'm just going to start layering into the jars, and then I'll make the marinade and pour over the top. So I'm going to put in a couple of olives, and these are garlic stuffed, so I don't have to add any more garlic to them. These are this seems to be like it's going to be one of my favorites, because I happen to be the one who loves all these different flavors. And, whoops, get away with myself here. 2 of them, and 2 of them, and a couple of them, and maybe another one, and another one. And we'll just layer these jars up until they're full. And you can add vegetables to this too, if you wanted to. The only thing I would caution is that the vegetables will not stand up as long as the rest of the things that are in here. But I don't anticipate this lasting long anyway. It'll go very quickly, and you can imagine, I hope, what a treat this is going to be for everybody. So, yes, I'm not cheating. I am putting in equal parts of the cheddar as to the white cheese, as to the mozzarella, even though I want to have more of it left behind. And Look at that. I want to get all the meat in for sure. A couple more pieces of cheese. What's this one? Another soft cheese. Get that little bit of meat in there. And there we go. I feel like I haven't put an olive in this one for a while. I'll take a couple of these out. Put in an olive. Oh, I hope I didn't do the same thing with the other one. Although, again, olives are my favorite, so it wouldn't hurt my feelings if there was some left behind. There. Good. Okay. Set this aside and make up a marinade to go on here. I'm going to use olive oil, and I feel like I could almost make a cup, but I don't want to waste any. Where with the brine that I have on the stove, these 2 brines, I have a little bit of each left over. I'm just going to put them in jars and I'm going to put them in the refrigerator, and they'll keep for a long time. You can use that brine over and over and continue to use it over and over again. So once you've made it, you can use it for multiple batches. So I'm going to start off with a half a cup for these 2 jars. Yep. And I am going to add a few things to it. I think I'll add some red wine vinegar. And I think I threw my spoon in the sink, so I'll just grab a regular tablespoon from the drawer. And I am going to add 2, 3, 4 tablespoons of red wine vinegar. And I'm going to add a bit of salt, except I don't know where I put the salt now. I have the smallest amount of table salt left, so I'm going to put in about 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And I'm going to put in maybe 1/2 teaspoon of Italian seasoning. That might have been closer to a teaspoonful. And I'm going to put in about 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder. You don't need any more than that with the garlic that's in the olives in there. Okay. I'm going to give this a good mix up. And I may have to make another batch of it, but I just don't want to waste any. It kind of seems silly to put this much in the refrigerator for next time. So let's see how we make out with this first batch. Now I'm going to taste it. And I'm going to use the same spoon so I don't have a fit. I feel like it almost needs a little, maybe it doesn't need any more acid. Okay, in it goes. Yeah, definitely going to have to make some more. And we'll just go through the process again. We'll mix her up good. I'm going to dump it on and we'll get this in the jars and into the fridge. I'm very, very excited to have everybody together. I don't know about you guys, I'm sure, people all over the world are very similar. When we get together, it's like a vacation or a holiday. We treat ourselves to food that we wouldn't normally eat on a regular day at home. We make too much food, then we try and send food home with people, and a lot of us live a long ways away. Well, that worked out just right. And we're just really grateful for the time that we have together, and look forward to getting together every time we have a chance. Okay, and we need some brines. And these are ready to go. So, in the span of time that it took me to prepare everything here, look at all this. All these wonderful little treats that we have to take along in our cooler to feed the family, to share with the family. I'm excited to share it with them, and I hope this has given you some ideas for quick pickles in your own house or marinated ones, and that you don't just have to marinate a cucumber. You can marinate all kinds of things if you just put your mind to it. Now, the marinated veggies, as long as they're covered in, or marinated, the marinated meat, olives, and cheese will last pretty well for a couple of weeks in the fridge if they're covered with the oil, so keep that in mind. If it looks like the jar is getting down and they are starting to poke their little heads out, just use a little more olive oil and fill it up so that they're covered. They won't last forever. This isn't a long-term solution to your pantry. It is a refrigerator treat. So we've done red onion pickles. We've done a sort of a jardiniere with some vegetables. We've done some dill pickles. And we did this lovely Mediterranean, I'm going to call it Mediterranean style marinated cheese and meat. And I hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you've enjoyed it today, folks, please give it a like, thumbs up, leave me your comments below. I always love to hear from you. And I always try to answer, even though I may not get to it right away. Sometimes takes me a couple of days because there is a lot of comments, but I appreciate you, each and every one. I look forward to seeing you again soon. Now, I'm off for 4 glorious days with family, and I will see you when I get back. So take care, everyone. Bye-bye.